Welcome to Sleep with Myth. Close your eyes and let the waking world fade. Tonight, we step into a city where dawn never returned, where one lantern waited long after every heartbeat stopped. The city of endless night. Sun vanished like a blown-out prayer. Shadows moved like memories. Silence ruled. Only one light remained, a lantern hanging in the watchtower, its flame steady for centuries, unfed, untouched. The city forgot itself. The lantern did not. It waited. Ilya, wanderer of stories, entered the city by accident or fate. Her torch dimmed. Streets echoed with absence. But in the distance, a flicker like heartbeat in void. The lantern. She walked toward it, every step like trespassing memory. Doors shivered. Stones exhaled cold breath. Eyes that no longer existed seemed to watch. Yet the lantern called. In the watchtower she found it, and beneath it a figure, cloaked, unmoving, as though carved from shadow. "Are you alive?" she asked. The figure did not respond. Lantern light showed a face young old, both neither. Eyes like stars remembering light. She whispered, "Were you waiting for someone?" The guardian spoke like stone in deep water. "I waited for everyone. Why am I the only one here?" Lantern flame leaned toward her, revealing the truth behind his gaze. A city once bright, markets once singing, children once running beneath lantern-strung bridges, until night chose not to end. Day fled, dreams withered, hope slept, all left, except him and the lantern. "This flame holds our last tomorrow," he said. Ilya reached for it. His hand stopped hers gently. "If you take this lantern," he whispered, "you carry our dawn or our end. Guardians do not choose. They wait." He waited centuries. He waited for her. The flame pulsed like living memory. "Do you remember light?" Ilya nodded. Stone breathed. Night shivered. "Then take it," said the guardian. The lantern weighed nothing and everything. It breathed like warm memory. Light spread through streets long dark, stirring whispered echoes. The guardian bowed once, ocean deep, reverent. The flame grew not brighter, but wider, reaching forgotten corners. Something old began to wake. Her journey, and the city's, had only begun. Ilya descended the tower with the lantern in her hand. It did not simply illuminate the dark. It breathed. Streets that had been consumed by night moments before now revealed faint outlines, corners, carvings, and dust that looked like memory waking from long sleep. The city was not dead. It was sleeping, and the lantern was its dream of waking. The silence around her was not empty. It listened. Beneath her boots the stone felt wide awake, old, and waiting. Windows stared out like unblinking eyes that once knew dawn. The guardian appeared without sound, without shadow. Before him, like memory summoned by presence. Ilya asked, "What happened here?" He answered gently, "This city was built on light, until we forgot to believe in sunrise. The sun vanished. Night became forever. People left. Hope dried. Laughter dimmed. Only one lantern remained, and one guardian who stayed to watch it. As Ilya walked deeper through the streets, the flame responded. Buildings remembered shape. Fountains remembered water. Shops remembered voices. She glimpsed visions of what once was. Markets full of light, children running beneath lanterns, musicians playing as if dawn itself danced between their strings. Then the memories faded. Echoes remained. The guardian spoke again. Light returns where it is remembered, but so do shadows born from forgetting. In the largest square, broken columns still stood like bones of ancient celebration. As lantern light touched them, faces flickered, not ghosts, but memories of people who once lived and loved. And among them rose a shape of shadow, a being formed not of malice, but sorrow. It trembled, recognizing the lantern. Ilya realized this was not a monster. It was forgotten hope. She raised the lantern toward it. Light did not burn, it soothed. The shadow leaned into it like someone, remembering warmth after centuries of cold. "You do not need to hide," she whispered. The flame grew deeper, richer, like sunrise behind eyelids. The shadow reached, trembling with longing, and light softened into healing. The city exhaled, a sigh of centuries. Something had begun. Not victory, awakening. The shadow in the square trembled beneath lantern light. Not shrinking, remembering. The city beneath Ilya's feet pulsed like a slow heartbeat waking after centuries. Lantern light spread across broken stone, cracks glowing gold like veins filling with sunrise. More shadows gathered, hungry not for blood or fear, but for remembrance. Ilya stepped closer. The shadow reached toward the lantern, not to destroy it, but to be restored by it. "How long have you been here?" she whispered. The answer came thin, fragile, like breath across broken years. "Long enough to forget." The guardian stood still as carved night. He did not guide. He only watched, for this moment belonged to the light-bearer. Ilya raised the lantern higher. The shadow leaned in, not resisting. When darkness touched the flame, it tore open like dawn over a black horizon. Light filled shadow, not burning, healing. The shape collapsed into a kneeling figure, human once more. Eyes blinked open. They were alive. The square gasped. A sound like feathers, like memory rediscovering body. Soon dozens followed. Hundreds. All shadows born from forgetting, not evil, but lost. The guardian warned, not all at once. Light shatters when memory rises too quickly. Ilya asked how to choose who wakes. "You do not choose," he said. "You feel." She knelt before the first restored soul. "What is your name?" A breath, soft as returning dawn. "Marin." When she spoke it aloud, the flame deepened. Flowers bloomed in cracked stone, silver like moonlight. The lantern held more than light. It held tomorrow. But every soul she restored would pass memory through her. Their sorrow, their love, their death, their dawn. Light would fill her until she trembled beneath its weight. Yet she vowed to carry them. "Then dawn has begun," the guardian said. Far beneath stone, something ancient stirred. Older than shadow, older than guardian, older than the last light itself. A tremor rolled through the city like thunder in the bones of the world. "The first light," he whispered. "The one even I could not protect." The path ahead was not simply restoration. It was awakening. A tremor moved beneath the city like a heartbeat long buried. Shadows recoiled not in fear, but in memory. They remembered the first light. Ilya descended into the old stairways with Marin and a handful of half-formed shadows following close, guided by the lantern's knowing glow. Murals on the walls showed a civilization that once worshipped dawn, carving sunlight into stone, believing morning eternal. Deep beneath the city, Ilya found it. A sleeping sphere of light suspended in darkness like dawn condensed into a single trembling breath. The guardian whispered that this was the first light, heart of the city, asleep since belief faded. When Ilya touched its presence, memories flooded her. Thousands of lives, laughter and loss, doors closing forever. She staggered under the weight. Memory was heavier than light, so she asked Marin, newly reborn from shadow, to share the burden. Marin placed their hands on the lantern, and others followed, trembling, wanting redemption. Together they carried what no single soul could bear. The first light opened like an eye waking to morning. Its dawn rippled upward through stone. Fountains glimmered, windows breathed, streets pulsed with golden veins. Shadows above ground cried in recognition, remembering childhood, festivals, love, and loss. The city began to wake, but the guardian warned, if dawn returns fully, it will not rise alone. Silence wakes with it. Not darkness, not evil. Something older balanced before memory, before flame. The world was stirring. When the first light awakened, something else rose with it. Silence, not absence of sound, but a presence older than memory. Ilya felt it beneath the stone like frost beneath skin. Marin, newly reborn from shadow, trembled beside her, while the guardian watched with rare fear in his eyes. The first light pulsed above them like a newly born sun. Souls gathered, some half-formed, others nearly whole, all waiting for dawn to return. But the guardian warned that with dawn comes balance, and balance is never gentle. Light remembers, he said. Silence erases. Ilya stepped closer to the first light. It tested her with memory. Lives she had never lived, children she had never held, farewells she had never spoken. Bearing memory was weight, not warmth. When she nearly broke beneath its sorrow, Marin took her hand, sharing the burden. Shadows followed, placing their palms on the lantern, wanting redemption through remembrance. The first light opened further. Golden veins raced through stone. Above, the sleeping city stirred. Fountains shimmered. Windows breathed. Dawn was returning. Then silence came. Presence with no face, no sound. Not darkness, absence. It whispered inside thought, offering Ilya rest instead of burden. You do not have to carry them, it told her without voice. Let go. But Ilya looked to Marin, saw not fear but faith, and chose light. She raised the lantern high. I will not end them, she said. I will wake them. Dawn merged with her lantern, two lights becoming one. Silence shuddered. The battle had not ended. It had begun. Silence unfolded like pages too ancient to recall their alphabet. The first light merged with Ilya's lantern, pulsing like a heart. Marin stood beside her, reborn from shadow, while lost souls gathered, waiting for dawn to choose them. But another presence rose. Silence. Not darkness, absence. It offered peace through forgetting. Ilya was shown an illusion of the city restored, Streets bright, children laughing, but without memory, without shadow, without pain. Felt perfect, too perfect. She refused paradise without truth. She chose dawn, with its wounds and its joy. The cavern shattered back into reality. Light surged through stone. The first light awoke fully. Across the city windows flared with gold. Fountains flowed again. Shadows found bodies, names, breath. Marin laughed and cried, "Human again." Dozens more followed. The guardian bowed, humbled. He had watched for centuries, but she carried what he could not, memory. Ilya approached silence not as enemy but balance. "Night is what makes dawn visible," she told it. Silence bowed and dispersed like mist at sunrise. Dawn rose. For the first time in 1,000 forgotten mornings, sunlight touched the city. People embraced through centuries of absence. Children chased birds across rooftops. Ilya stood atop the tower, no longer carrying flame, for the sun itself remembered how to shine. "What now?" Marin asked. Ilya smiled. "Now we live, but never the end for those who remember."